Hi, my name is Mary McCarthy. I'm a customer for the Ladies Not for Burning for the Hyde Park Community Players. I was asked to talk a little bit about my work on this production. So, welcome to my dining room where I do all my costume work, and I'll give you a brief tour of the costume show and how it's getting put together as we approach opening night. So here's my script. Starting with that, I developed my notes here, and I'm going to show you the note that I thought was most useful to me, or certainly that I thought the most about, which was the time, 1400, either more or less exactly. And as I did research on the show, learn when it was written, and perhaps why this time was selected, decided that it seems best to keep the show pretty tagged to that time frame since the author had been so explicit about it. These are my notes about the characters as I read the script, kind of noting the practical considerations as well as the characteristics of all the different characters in the play. So, for example, if you see there with Humphrey, he needs to be transfigured with dirt when we first see him, and then later on he cleans up. So, things for me to note as I go into the show. Things I need to note about the relationships of the characters, their relative ages, professions. Those are all go into picking what kind of costume will work for them. I also always do historical research each and every time, even if I've worked in a period before, just so that I get the silhouettes back in my head, get all the details straight again. I just like to be as accurate as possible. Today I was doing some additional research. Actually, my computer fell back to sleep, but starting to work on some details like hats and just kind of looking at a variety of different styles and thinking about what might work for this show. Because the players are a community theater, we don't have a ton of money to work with, and so wherever possible, if it's possible to reuse something we already have or to borrow, that's certainly something I try to do. And fortunately, we had done a production of Romeo and Juliet just a few years ago, which we built almost entirely. We borrowed a little bit, not a lot. And so we had a lot to choose from in the same relative period. So let me give you a quick tour of that. We'll pass by a Nutcracker costume, actually, because I'm working on that too. So here's some of the patterns that I used in Romeo and Juliet, and I kind of pulled them back out just to see if there was anything else I needed. So here's the brothers' costumes from Romeo and Juliet that we'll reuse, the two feuding brothers in the show. Moving over here, we'll see a peasant character, the Rag and Bone Man, as well as our cleric. And then we'll kind of spin around here to see the mother there in red, Lady Juliet's coming, or Lady Capulet, excuse me, is coming back. We're using the two parts of one that I had built initially for Juliet, but this time as an overlay to create a change for this character in the second half. Into the clerk and the mayor. The judge will be dressing those two costumes a little bit more with accessories. And then our young ladies, our 17-year-old sort of ingenue character, if you will. And then our not quite a witch will be in nice mossy green and then a little bit more brilliant later in the show. And then Thomas, our military man, who I'll be adding a little bit more leather and other accessories as I work on him. So there's a little tour of the show in progress as I've been pulling costumes, fitting them, and now I'm working on final details as we plan for opening night. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this brief tour. Take care. Bye-bye.